pregnant. Because his wife is 8 months pregnant, the husband has to sleep on the floor to avoid unfortunate mistakes that could easily happen, because he has been desperate for so long. Just before lying down on the bed, she glanced at him and saw the poor guy curled up on the floor, eyes wide open looking into empty space, filled with hopeless longing. Feeling sorry for her husband, she opened the top drawer of the dresser, took out a $50 bill and gave it to him. "Aw, my darling is so depressed. Here, take this here and go with the woman next door. Tonight she will let you sleep with her, and remember this only happens once, okay? Don't think about it anymore." The husband rolled his eyes in disbelief, but was afraid she would change her mind, so he took the money and quickly left. A few minutes later, he returned, gave the $50 bill back to his wife and said with disappointment, "She said this isn't enough, she wants 60. The wife's face gradually turned red with anger. That bitch, when she was pregnant and her husband came here. I didn't charge a penny. Male logic. A man and his wife are in court getting a divorce. The problem was who should get custody of the child. The wife jumped up and said, "Your Honor, I brought the child into this world with pain and labor. She should be in my custody." The judge turns to the husband and says, "What do you have to say in your defense?" The man sat for a while contemplating, then slowly rose. "Your Honor, if I put $1 in a vending machine and a Pepsi comes out, whose Pepsi is it, the machine's or mine?" What does every woman want? A man is walking down the beach and comes across an old bottle. He picks it up, pulls out the cork, and out pops a genie. The genie says, "Thank you for freeing me from the bottle. In return, I will grant you 3 wishes." The man says, "Great. I always dreamed of this, and I know exactly what I want. First, I want $1 billion in a Swiss bank account." Foof. There is a flash of light and a piece of paper with account numbers appears in his hand. He continues, "Next, I want a brand new red Ferrari right here." Foof. There is a flash of light and a bright red brand new Ferrari appears right next to him. He continues, "Finally, I want to be irresistible to women." Foof. There is a flash of light and he turns into a box of chocolates. Your mother insulted me. The young wife was in tears when she opened the door for her husband. I was insulted, she sobbed. Your mother insulted me. My mother, he exclaimed. But she is hundreds of miles away. I know, but a letter was sent to you this morning and I opened it. He looked serious, I understand. But where does the insult come from? In the postscript, she replied. It says, Dear Alice, don't forget to give this letter to George. Ravishing girl and 3 men. In a train compartment, there are 3 men and a ravishing young girl. The 4 passengers join in conversation, which very soon turns to the erotic. Then, the young girl proposes, if each of you will give me $1, I will show you my legs. The men, charmed by this young girl, all pull $1 out of their wallet, and then the girl pulls up her dress a bit to show her legs. Then she says, if each of you gentlemen will give me $10, I'll show you my thighs. Men being what they are, they all pull out a $10 bill. The girl pulls up her dress all the way to her undies. Conversation continues, and the men, a bit excited, have all taken off their coats. Then the young girl says, "If you will give me $100, I will show you where I was operated on for appendicitis." Naturally, all three fork over the money. Then the girl turns to the window, and points to a hospital in the distance and says, "There. I took what I want." One summer's evening, Patty and Mick are on their way to the pub for their usual drink. "I'm a bit tired tonight," says Mick. "I think I'll just have a little lie down in this ditch and have a little sleep. You can wake me up on your way home later." "Right, you are," says Patty, and they separate. At the end of the evening, Patty comes out of the pub and starts walking back to collect Mick from his ditch. He hasn't gone far when Mick rolls up beside him driving a big shiny Volvo. "Where did you get that lovely car from?" asks Patty, astonished. Mick chuckled and said, "Let me tell you. I lay there in the ditch, sleeping peacefully. I had just rolled to the other side when an attractive lady drove up in her sparkling new Volvo. She asked me if I wanted to drive with her. Well, I thought, why not? It's a lovely evening for a drive. So in I got." She drove along for a bit and then turned off into a field. She got out of the car, took off all her clothes and said, "Take what you want." So I took the Volvo. Why do you wear the collar that way? An old Jewish man was once on the subway and he sat down next to a younger man. He noticed that the young man had a strange kind of shirt collar. Having never seen a priest before, he asked the man, "Excuse me, sir, but why do you have your shirt collar on backwards?" The priest became a bit flustered but politely answered, "I wear this collar because I am a father." The Jewish man thought for a second and responded, "Sir, I am also a father, but I wear my collar frontways. Why do you wear your collar so differently?" The priest thought for a minute and said, "Sir, I am the father for many." The Jewish man quickly answered, "I too am the father of many. I have 4 sons, 4 daughters and too many grandchildren to count. But I wear my collar like everyone else does. Why do you wear it your way?" The priest, who was beginning to get exasperated, thought and then blurted out, "Sir, I am the father for hundreds and hundreds of people." The Jewish man was taken aback and was silent for a long time. As he got up to leave the subway train, he leaned over to the priest and said, "Mister, maybe you should wear your pants backwards." A kind lawyer. One afternoon, a wealthy lawyer was riding in the back of his limousine when he saw 2 men eating grass by the roadside. He ordered his driver to stop and he got out to investigate. "Why are you eating grass?" he asked one man. "We don't have any money for food," the poor man replied. "Oh, come along with me then," instructed the lawyer. "But, sir, I have a wife and 2 children." "Bring them along," replied the lawyer. He turned to the other man and said, "Come with us." "But sir, I have a wife and 6 children," the second man answered. "Bring them as well," answered the lawyer as he headed for his limo. They all climbed into the car, which was no easy task, even for a car as large as the limo. Once underway, one of the poor fellows says, "Sir, you are too kind. Thank you for taking all of us with you." The lawyer replied, "No problem, the grass at my home is almost a foot tall." The pasta. An attorney was having an affair with his secretary. Shortly afterward, she told him she was pregnant. Not wanting his wife to know, he gave his secretary a sum of money and asked her to go to Italy and have the baby there. "But how will I let you know the baby is born?" she asked. He replied, "Just send me a postcard and write spaghetti on the back. I'll take care of the child's expenses." Not knowing what else to do, the secretary took the money and flew to Italy. 6 months went by and then one day, the attorney's wife called him at the office and explained, "Dear, you received a very strange postcard in the mail today from Europe, and I don't understand what it means." The attorney said, "Just wait until I get home, and I will explain it to you." Later that evening the attorney came home, read the postcard, fell to the floor with a heart attack. Paramedics arrived and took him to the ER. The lead medic stayed back to comfort the wife. He asked what trauma had precipitated the cardiac arrest. So, the wife picked up the card and read aloud, "Spaghetti, spaghetti, 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 2 with sausage and meatballs, 2 without." Priest and the doorbell. One day, a priest was walking along the street when he noticed a young boy attempting to press a doorbell on a house across the way. However, the doorbell was placed too high for the boy's reach, leaving him struggling to make it work. Observing the boy's efforts for a while, the priest decided to lend a helping hand. He crossed the street, approached the boy, and with a gentle gesture, reached out and pressed the doorbell for him. Leaning down to the boy's level, the priest looked at him kindly and inquired, "And what shall we do now, my young friend?" The boy quickly turned to the priest and exclaimed, "Now we run." Thank you for your listening.